I would definitely expect Beastie to turtle here. He's very comfortable with that style, and the map's so good for it. And Killer just has to go Broodlord in that situation. You can't break a turtle Terran with ultras unless you're way ahead already.
We'll see what he's gonna do. He's the yellow Zerg in the bottom left, Dignitas.KiLLeR, and against him it's Empire.Beastyqt in the top right as the green Terran. And so far nothing special. We just see that KiLLeR not gonna 6-pool or anything, which I think is kind of interesting because a lot of Terrans nowadays going 14 command center.
Yeah.
I feel like.
However, I've also seen 6-pool actually just lose to SCVs, so I feel a little bit uncomfortable experimenting with that.
But I think that's only.
It's normally 6-pool is supposed to beat command center first, but
it's only
SCVs
MVP who can hold it with SCVs. So if you're playing in Home Cup, you shouldn't. But I feel like any other time,
you should just go ahead and 6-pool.
6-pool.
Yeah, just hope they don't do anything else.
Although all the Empire Terrans seem to just always 1-rack CC, like Happy, Cuss.
Actually, pretty much all Terrans in general just go 1-rack CC now. It's by far the most common build that I get to play against. CC first is good to mix in, but it doesn't feel like too much of a difference because Zerg can play so greedy versus that. I feel like there's going to be absolutely no pressure on me. I can actually just take my third hatchery before my extra queens, and then still get up, get the queen spread, get the creep spread going from the queens, have those queens defensively, and just have a way faster third base. I almost think 1-rack CC is better because it has more different early aggressive potential than command center first.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point to make. The one thing I'm always worried about when I take my third base before like the queen production is like the 4 Hellions that just run by slow queens.
That's true.
Like that still happens sometimes, but looks like Beastie is once again gonna go for that 1-rack CC, and KiLLeR actually went for the very fast scout once again. So I guess he really likes playing safe. Maybe he's gonna try to do something with this drone this time, like steal gas, or maybe not lose an Overlord and a drone.
That would be nice.
To one Marine.
It's definitely better when you don't do that early game in ZVT.
Yeah.
Where's that SCV going for Beastie?
This SCV is just
he just forgot about it
out here, checking for Overlords to kill because he wants more. He wants more Overlord blood, and this Marine is actually right here, but this Overlord is going to get away, so
that will be safe. I would really like it if we saw a Roach Baneling attack from KiLLeR here, actually. Beastie almost always plays with that fast tech opening. He's often quite greedy, and this is a great map for Roach Bane attacks, in part because it's so long, no one expects it, but also because the choke is so wide, it's impossible to really wall off that efficiently, and the ramp is pretty exposed. It's hard to have a good tucked away bunker that also covers the ramp. So I think that would be a great choice from him here, but with no gases, it looks like he will be going for the Queen macro build.
Yeah, definitely looks like at least a 4 Queen opening. You can still do Roach Bane with 4 Queen opening. But less likely since he did go speed last time. If he really wanted to do that, he would probably go speed again and just make it look the exact same way. So I think we're going to see a Queen heavy creep spread fast third base macro game here, which BC is just going to do the same thing, double gas. He's going to probably make a factory, go Reactor Hellions. I'm not sure if he's going to go Banshee again.
He goes Banshee very, very frequently. To him, it's just like the comfortable go-to build, as the Banshees give you pretty good defense against any kind of fast Baneling attacks. And at the same time, it allows you to put some pressure on Zergs. And if Zergs aren't aware of it, if they don't respond fast enough, sometimes they'll just flat out kill them or do game-ending damage. But KiLLeR responded very well last time, and he took almost no damage from the Banshees and the Hellions. He just didn't follow it up particularly well. So I'm not sure if that'll scare Beastie off it, or if he'll just be a little bit more conservative with his Banshees and use them for map control this game, and use them to transition to macro as he did last time.
Yeah, we'll have to see, and it does look like KiLLeR is making his 4 queens, so very standard opening nowadays in ZVZ. We're going to see a lot of creep on this map, most likely. He doesn't really have Overlords in position yet. Normally at this point you really want to send one in to see what the turn is doing. Once again, it's going to be a starport, so I guess you were right, and BC just loves his Banshees very much.
It is his standard build. He does it pretty much every game that I see of him, so not particularly surprised there. And no third there goes excuse me. There goes the third base from KiLLeR. So it's a pretty standard build. He only has the 2 additional queens out yet. He actually Overlord blocked himself too. So a little bit sloppy early on once again from KiLLeR. I have to see if he's going to go ahead and make the 5th and 6th queen that we see a lot nowadays. This map in particular, there's a lot of different paths. It's really hard to spread creep along all of them. So seeing the extra 2 queens, I would like that a lot. And it's also great in defense of the Hellion Banshee build. But it's not
here's another queen. One more queen. You know, this is exactly the part where I think it's really dangerous, because you have these 3 queens here, so you feel really safe, like, oh my god, they have 5 range, they just own Hellions, but then he gets 4, And then if he sneaks up, and there's actually no lings at all, and one queen in the main base, you can lose so many drones.
Yeah, a lot of Terrans just really underestimate the ability to do that. They're so scared by the new queen, they think it's impossible to actually harass with the Hellions. But more often than not, Zergs are feeling way too safe because of that entire effect, and there's just absolutely no defense behind the queens.
What do you think about in tournaments when you're playing and you play game 1 and they watch your replay?
I think it's kind of annoying. Usually it's because it slows it down and I don't want to wait.
Because I actually I played Brad OK in DreamHack, and after game 1 I went Mass Queen, and he didn't run up his Hellions, and he went to check the replay. And then afterwards I realized why he ran up the Hellions. Because he saw in the replay I didn't make any lings, and then I lost that game. But it looks like Beasty is just going to find this third base with his first 4 Hellions. There's only 3 queens and some lings, so I guess even if he runs by, KiLLeR would probably be okay against this.
He doesn't have them sitting on top of his ramp or in a good position to block, though, and they are slow lings. Speed lings anywhere near done. So I would still feel pretty uncomfortable with that. One Banshee in, but 3 additional queens will shoot that down pretty easily. No cloak this game, so he was actually scared off the cloak Banshee.
No cloak.
By KiLLeR's defense last game.
No cloak and no roaches, just double upgrade Ling Baneling. But also no third command center right now from Beasty. He's just adding 3 more barracks, 4 more barracks, and getting the Stim upgrade, so he's definitely going to do some 2-base heavy pressure, which is very surprising to me. I didn't think he would do that, but here we go with 2 Marauders and 1 Marine also coming. The Hellions and the Banshee cleaning up some creep. KiLLeR just almost doesn't have a speed. This is really dangerous without speed. 2 queens could die so fast to those Marauders, but he backs up. There's 2 Banelings there.
Yeah, I really like the addition of the Marauders in that push. Oftentimes you'll see just Marine heavy openings and head up towards Medivacs, but those 2 Marauders are very, very powerful against the queens. Could definitely they add a lot more attack potential to this little push.
Now he comes into the third base, and the Lings actually can't engage his Hellions, but there comes the Banelings, and he tries to get them stuck, and he blows up on Marauders. Not a good trade for KiLLeR, but he does end up cleaning up these Marauders, and now the Banshees are still alive. And 1 queen coming from the back, a little bit of a mistake there, I think, to send it that way. This one is going to get picked off. And here's 3 queens, so he can
get in the range, but he doesn't hit the transfuse in time. And actually a Raven on the way as well. I've seen Beasty do this build before, tomorrow on Ohana in something, and he actually just does a big 2-base build with tanks and bio behind it. He doesn't take a third command center, actually just lifted off his main orbital and sent it to his third base in that game. So we're definitely going to see really dedicated 2-base aggression coming here from Beasty. Yeah. Not what I'd expect him at all on this map. This is a perfect turtle map. But as I said, he really doesn't like it, so maybe he just felt like doing something a little bit non-standard and trying to end the game.
Even getting a second factory and everything before a third base. He has 5 barracks with add-ons, double medevacs coming out too, although he's not making any yet. He doesn't really have any gas. These 2 factories are going to be very gas expensive, so I'm not sure I like this. I mean, KiLLeR got up a third base. He's on 64 drones. He's got all his queens, all his macro hatch coming up. His lair almost done. The double upgrades are already done. He's going to be 2-2 probably against 1-1 once the fight does happen. And I feel like with Infestor Ling, he's going to be able to deal with this just fine, because it's going to take so long for Beasty to get across the map.
Yeah, it definitely should be, but really KiLLeR is executing pretty poorly. If you look at his money, he's not saving up for mutas or anything, and he has 1,000 minerals and 800 gas early on. He really could have a lot more drones than he does right now. He could be up at 80 right now and be in an almost unlosable situation. Instead, his production's not that good, his economy's not that good. I could see Beasty still winning.
Yeah, he definitely isn't out of this. He's going to have 1 big attack, and it's basically going to come down to that, but if KiLLeR macros properly from this point out, he's going to be maxed by the time Beasty attacks, unless he goes soon. But
another thing is the creep spread. Despite the queen opening, not full creep spread just yet from KiLLeR, especially in the area where Beasty's going to want to push into. He's going to want to go into that area near the central 4th base for KiLLeR, and there's absolutely no creep at all there. So he's going to be able to push from that pretty defensible position into the third base of KiLLeR. And this is good timing.
Here he goes.
This is pretty good timing. He's not going to have 2-2 upgrades. KiLLeR will not have 2-2 upgrades before the attack hits. And he's not going to have a ton of mutas just yet, if he even decides to make mutas.
He's making 36 Zerglings, and he sees there's no third base. He should know that this is an all-in attack. His creep spread is just not amazing. He does have Baneling speed. It's going to be done. 2-2 won't be. This is going to be the make or break attack of the game for Beasty here. He has to be really careful with his creep and these speed banelings. Not a lot of speed banelings.
Yeah.
I think that is a...
I really dislike the decision. He actually has 13 mutas in production.
He has so much money too.
Yeah. So much money that he's not spending.
So much gas.
But all those mutas could be Ling Baneling. Ling Baneling would absolutely destroy this push. Those mutas aren't going to do too much, really. With that many Marines, that few mutas,
still,
they're not good fighting enemies.
I feel like with the production he has, This army, it's strong, but once the tanks are unsieged once, it's
Yeah.
going to be really, really difficult for the Marines to not die against the Link Baneling.
BC has to be really careful, and the same like Killer just has to choose that moment where the tanks are unsieged to go in. He's leapfrogging forward, and here comes the attack. If he targets down all those Banelings, that's his one opportunity. He really has to focus down the Banelings, and has perfect control on the Marines.
And he has all his tanks on one hotkey, so if he does it well, and he's being very, very careful, Killer's probably going to go soon. He has 30 more supply. Really, I think this is... I mean, if he waits for 2-2, that's okay too, but I feel like he's going to crush this. And here we go with the Link Banelings. They go in. The Lings on the tanks. The Banelings
so many units from Killer.
are going to the back. So many units and so many Banelings rolling. Doing a very nice job splitting. And even Marines in the back. Wow, amazing split. And these tanks kill so much.
And those mutas coming in, they're just not able to kill the Marines. The medevacs are out-healing the mutas. He's taking a lot of losses. They're maybe going to clean this up, but there's some turrets up there as well that the tanks can move forward to. But Ling reinforcements streaming in from Killer, and that's actually going to just clear up this entire attack from BC.
Wow.
BC doesn't have a third command center. He has pretty much
Oh,
nothing
but look at
going
this.
for him.
Look at the third base. Raven and the Banshees are taking out the hatchery with the turrets. And he is going to get this hatchery, yes. He
Wow,
takes out the third base.
I was wondering what the
Wow.
Raven was doing during the battle, because there was no PDD against the mutas. And he actually does have a third base, a third orbital moving out, and he has a 2-factory tank production. So he should be able to defend that third base. And now Killer, all of a sudden things don't look so good for him.
I was going to say after that battle, he did a great job. He cleaned up the whole thing, and then, you know, you lose your third base to 3 units
That feels
really
that feels
fast,
pretty
and then
bad.
all of a sudden you're like, he's going to come in here with his mutas in the middle of the map. He's going to be like, oh damn, there's a command center, and now it's 3 base against 2 base, and what am I going to do?
And he lost so many mutas early on. He does not have any kind of critical mass of muta. He's not really going to be able to harass with them. This
He's gonna
attack
go
could be
in
very
here.
dangerous. This is all going to come down to BC's control again. If he spreads as well as he did before, he can hold it.
Here we
It's gonna
go.
be very difficult.
Marine stemming and walking back. Beautiful spread once again. All the Banelings are not really going
Wow.
anywhere. They
Terrible
just all
Baneling
died
control
to the
from Killer right
tanks.
That was exactly what he couldn't do. He kind of just sat around in the middle of nowhere, so even when they died, they did no damage. But really, really good control from the Beastie at the same time, and that was a perfect Marine split. He had those extra 2 tanks coming at just the right time to add in more DPS, and managed to hold that off.
Killer is trying to expand to the middle. I'm not sure I like that choice, especially with Beastie being in the middle. It's going to be very close if he just takes down these rocks. You can just walk right over there. At the same time, he is trying to muta harass, now going up to the natural, but there's 1 turret there. Let's see if he can repair. Repair's pretty amazing.
You can definitely take that downtime. It's not in great position for repair, and BC actually is running the SCVs away immediately. He has the Marines there, and including a bunker and a couple of medevacs, so he will push them away. But lost mining time, some lost SCVs, and he is going to have to put up a bunch of turrets to hold off the threat of that. And
I feel like this game is very, very close. There's only 1 eBay going, only plus 2-1, and there's 2-2 upgrades on the ground for Zerg. But here come the mutas, and they take out more SCVs that are not mining. And Beastie's economy really suffering here. As you can see, Zerg is way up in income right now, even with mules. Only 40 harvesters for Beastie. So I feel like, you know, this is why 2-base will win. Oh my god, these Marines are going to go for the mutas, and they will catch them. Don't lose all of them. Oh, he does a good job pulling them away reasonably quick.
Still losing 3 or 4 there, and he's kind of trapped here. He's going to take more damage getting out. At least lose 1 or 2 more mutas. So that really hurts. Actually, he didn't lose any more mutas on the way out. A little bit lucky for him.
They're all very low health. So.
Yeah. However, he's continuing muta production. I don't know if I really agree with that. He's heading up towards Hive. He's getting Infestor Tech, and he's established his economy. He has 4 base running. He's getting a 5th. He's in pretty good shape. But continuing
turns.
muta production is just kind of a waste at this point. He's not going to get up enough to do any real damage, and he's ready to transition into other more powerful techs. I'm not sure if I understand why he's doing that.
Yeah, he has enough to stop drops, just barely, so focusing on Infestor Ling here would have been better. It looks like Beastie's just trying to macro up here. His 2-1 will finish soon. Definitely looks like it's probably going to be Brute Lords here. I mean, he already has Aspire. It would make sense. If he can get the Brute Lords before Beastie attacks again, he's in great shape. I don't understand why 9 more drones.
Yeah, his big lead right now is in the economy. He has a massive economic advantage. He just kind of needs to hold off his attack. Beastie only has the small third base. He doesn't have the back third yet. He doesn't have a lot of production. He doesn't have a lot of upgrades. He's not set up well for the mid game.
Beastie definitely wants to attack here, and he's moving up the top side of the map. And Killer just needs to crush his attack, I feel. And his Brute Lords are not going to be done. He's going to go in with the Muta. Ling, Bane, all go in. The Banelings are way behind. All these Marines are doing a good job against these mutas, but the Banelings kind of just don't do anything, and these Marines clean up all the mutas now with the Thors.
Good control by BC, but really a poor engagement from Killer. No flank at all. The Banelings were behind. Then he just ran them into the Thor, which tanked very, very well.
He literally just selected his army and went forward. They were all going. The Banelings were way behind. The Mutiling just ran in against the Marine wall, and now he's going to lose his base. And now I feel like even though the game looked really good for him at some point, this is going to be a tough one. BC is going to be all over the map with constant reinforcements, 8 Marines and 2 tanks being made at the time. And he's just going to keep attacking and probably move to this 4th base now where there are a lot of drones.
Yeah.
And if he manages to get that, there's only 3 infestors, a handful of Ling Baneling with these tanks. BC is actually going to move back. Not sure why. He needs to go and kill the 4th base.
Yeah, with those 3 Thors, those are just, they have such great survivability. He's not going to be able to whittle them down.
Fungals and Bexal.
Yeah. And he doesn't have enough fungals. He just doesn't have enough of anything. He really has to wait for the Broodlords. Yeah, just a ton of money built up, no real units out on the map. Maybe some Broodlords in production. Actually, and he lost his spawning pool to a drop at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there was a huge drop in the main.
He missed a drop. And here go a few Corruptors, some Banelings, but this is just not close at all.
Did he lose his Greater Spire or something?
No, he hasn't. He's
just
he has so much money.
I don't really understand KiLLeR's play this game. He's messing up a lot of stuff. He wasn't. He had the opportunity to be in great shape after he held off that push. The game was really in his hands.
And now this is just no contest
away. Yeah.
on the 4th base. Just clean it up. All the drones gone. Broodlords will finish, but no economy behind it. So once BC kills the Broodlords, it's game over.
Yeah.
I don't understand. KiLLeR had 2.5k sitting around while losing his bases. I really feel like he kind of threw it away in the macro there. And,
yeah, he made way too many drones. He didn't have enough macro hatcheries to even use the drones he made. It was just really questionable decision making all the way through from him. And Beasty does unsiege. He kills both the 3rd hatchery and then unsieges in time to get away from the Broodlords. His reinforcements torn up. And there's just so many units from Beasty. As long as he doesn't get caught in a huge fungal, he might actually just be able to go into the kill now.
5 Broodlords. Once these fungals are gone, it's just going to be... BC's going to laugh and roll over him.
Yeah, he'll be able to attack move as soon as he doesn't have to respect the infestors. And there's only 3 infestors, so it's not even enough fungals to really make much of a difference. Beasty does have a 4th man center finish. He's floating over to take his 4th base, however that's blocked by creep, so he doesn't really have a ton of economy. If if a lightning bolt strikes his army or something, and it all disappears, then perhaps.
Beasty's just made really good use of his units. He really doesn't have a lot of money. He just never lost a lot of units to KiLLeR's attacks. And here we go for the final move with the Broodlords. Just actually doing a good job against his Marines who take a lot of damage from the tanks.
Yeah, he's in great position with the Broodlords, and he's saving up his fungals, waiting for a money cone. So smart play at least here from KiLLeR. And he has finally spent all that bank. He has a lot of Ling Baneling. And as we said, Beasty really doesn't have a ton of production. I don't think he has any Vikings out, so this is still a little bit dangerous here. That Broodlord army is really, really powerful.
Look how little money Beasty has in his main and natural.
Yeah.
Losing this base and not mining here because of the creep is really hurting him right now.
But at the same time, almost no money from KiLLeR. KiLLeR is pretty much all in on this army. He has retaken that 3rd base, but if we look at his money, he's down at 120 minerals. And
there's no medevacs with these Marines, and like if he just
continues to stim
like
it, he has almost no health left. Finally, a fungal takes out a big chunk of the army. Down to 3 Broodlords though. 3 Broodlords is small enough that he will be able to take that out.
But still, now his 3rd base is back up and running.
Oh, there's a big drop in the main. That's what we missed.
Yeah,
that makes
big
more
drop
sense
in
now.
the main.
Okay, he's killed off the hive. He's killed off most of the tech buildings, and he also most importantly, he forced KiLLeR's army back into the main. KiLLeR's all in on that army. He has to be going in and killing Beasty with it. So the fact that it's brought back to defend kind of takes his last hope out of this game.
But it's still very interesting because Beasty only really has 37 harvesters and 2 orbitals. So, and these SCVs are just not mining at this planetary fortress. So I mean, the income is kind of similar, and if he can't keep these infestors and the Broodlords together, and somehow prevents Beasty from getting all these bases up again, he still has a small chance. Beasty's just going to keep dropping. I'm sorry we missed those drops twice. Here trying to harass the 3rd base. There's a Spore Crawler killing his medevac. Very useful Spore Crawler. 2 kills the whole game.
It was an awesome Spore Crawler. If only it had held off the Banshees and the Raven during that first attack, and it saved that 3rd base.
This other medevac dies too. So the spawning pool didn't die again. I feel like this drop on the main was almost kind of bad because he didn't kill any. He only killed the Baneling Nest as a building.
It was only really effective, I feel, because it forced KiLLeR to pull back his entire army and allowed BC to establish those 2 new bases and save his planetary. I think that was the only real value in the drop. But in doing that, I think it allowed BC to win the game. If he had been able to just keep applying pressure with that Broodlord army.
Well, now he actually has
That's still
8.
a lot of Broodlords. And he has Corruptors, so he can't just throw Vikings at it. I don't know. KiLLeR is, again, pretty much all in on this army, but Beasty's going to be hard-pressed to hold it off.
There's like 4 fungals on these infestors too. And there's still no medevacs, and none are being made. It's just Vikings, so these Marines are going to stim once and then just die immediately. So
some of them can't even stim anymore. Yeah, I don't know. This is looking pretty bad for Beastie. He does have that back base set up now. He can't afford to throw away that planetary and just wait for more Vikings and try and overwhelm this. But there's quite a few Corruptors, and he's continuing to produce Corruptors. Killer knows that that is what could happen, that the Vikings could just overwhelm him, and he's preparing for that.
Yeah, he's
so
got
he's
a
playing
lot.
really smart.
He's got a lot. And actually, you know, I can't believe this is happening, but I feel like this army of Killer is just now too hard for BC to kill. They're like, this is a 28-minute game and both have around 100 supply, but I feel like because there's no medevacs and he's not making any, just Marines are just almost worthless.
What?
And Killer's just going to keep moving forward.
Yeah, and that's getting to be too many units, too many fungal. The only thing is there's very few infestors, so if he actually does get a good spread on his Marines and stems in a big arc, that could. And really, really smart by Beastie, he realized what kind of trouble he's in, so he's actually just fragmenting his Marine army, which isn't too useful anyway, and going in and doing economic damage.
Sending a few Marines into the third while attacking this planetary. This planetary has no chance. He really needs more Vikings. I don't know why he's making tanks at this point.
Yeah, the tanks really confuse me. I guess he's hoping to drop in and get lucky and kill the infestors or something of that sort. It looks like BC's going to move in for the kill. There's no Zerglings there for support, so this is his opportunity. But watch for the fungus, a huge fungal on the big pack Marines, and that pretty much ends BC's opportunity to win this game.
Those Marines just got obliterated.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of Corruptors. The Vikings stand no chance. As soon as his PF goes down, and it doesn't look like, wow, fungal those Vikings? Yes, he gets the fungal on the Vikings. And GG.
Yeah, there was just no way he could touch that army after the fungal. He had to spread out perfectly versus that, even flank it from both sides or something of that sort.